Should you invest in an HMO as your first purchase? Hi everyone, my name is Radhika and I did purchase a 2-bedroom property to be converted into a 3-bed mini-mo. It's not a full-size HMO, but it definitely classifies as a HMO, and I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of my first and second purchases of HMO. In our portfolio, we have 3 properties that are HMOs, and yes, HMOs are amazing, but they're also a lot of hard work, and I want to stress that they are a lot of hard work, but there are positives to it, and this is where risk and reward comes into. So let's go straight into this video. By the way, if you are new to this channel, hello and thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you get to see further videos. So the first thing I want to talk about is when I first started, everybody was talking about HMOs. It was just the big thing that was in the market 3 years ago, and it still is big, but there are other opportunities still at the moment. But it was just one of those terms that were thrown around. Everyone was doing HMOs, and that's just basically how I started in HMOs. I do have a full video on my first property on my YouTube page, so go and check that out if you are interested, because it is a very unique purchase, and again it was a sourced property. So the first benefit is the financial gain that you get from a HMO, because you're not just getting one tenancy agreement, you're getting 6 tenancy agreements. If you have a 6-bedroom HMO, that means you have 6 times the income compared to a buy-to-let, so hence why that's going to be a little bit more than your buy-to-lets, which you usually see the overall income of maybe 2 or 3 times more than what you would get in a buy-to-let. Now, having said that, if you do have a void in a buy-to-let, that's 0 income coming in. If you have 1 void in a 6-bedroom HMO, that you're still having 5 tenants pay the rent and pay for any bills that you're paying for, or the mortgage you're paying for, anything like that. So the risk is actually spread. So not only are you getting more money, but the risk is actually spread across the 6 rooms. The con to the high income coming in is that there are unfortunately a high turnover of tenants, which means that there could be more void periods if they don't stay beyond their tenancy agreement, or they just decide to leave. And I've had this, people come in for 3 weeks and they just leave. People come after a year and just leave. There's no notice. That's just what it is. And you know, you've got to deal with that. So sometimes it just fluctuates in terms of the rental you're coming in, and sometimes you might have a problem with one person paying late, or they've lost their job, or there's some sort of something going on in between. So you've just got to keep an eye on the payments. The other thing is that they could all be paying at different times. So one could be paying on the 1st of the month, the 15th of the month, the 27th of the month. So you just have to make sure that all of those payments are coming in, and you're going to keep an eye on that. Even if you are working with a lettings agency, just make sure all of the statements do stack up, and you do have to spend some time going through your statements, making sure all of the numbers are correct, because you could easily miss a payment. The second to this point is that if you are using a lettings agency and you are paying for them to find a tenant, you could be charged a fee for those tenants. Now, I pay to find for them to find my tenants because it's just an easier process. I don't have to deal with any of that, and there is a lot to the whole tenancy startup side of it and deposits and things like that, so I just leave it to them to do. However, that is a major cost every single year because of the high turnover. I'm still getting in 4 new tenants in my first property every single time, so every single year there's 4 new people, maybe more. The lucky thing is that they only charge me once per year per tenant per room. So for example, they can only charge me for 4 people maximum per year, but that's still a huge cost that I take in every single year, and it does get a lot sometimes. Not to mention the void periods. If no one's in there for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that adds up over time. And especially if you're having 5 or 6 tenants in per year, then all of them have 2 void periods per year, for example. That's a lot of time. The second benefit of HMOs is that it often fits in the BRRR method, the BRR method. I'm going to try that one more time, the BRRR method. And essentially you're going to buy a normal house and then convert it into a 6-bedroom HMO, so you're often adding a lot of value into that, hoping that it falls into that commercial side depending on location, which works best for that. But essentially it could be close to that money in money out deal, or closer to 100% return on investment, because you're using that method of so not only can you pay your investors back quickly, but secondly, you could have a property with none of your own money in. Now, the con to this, which I don't think is a con, but it can be a con, and now I'm seeing it as a con, is that it takes ages to do the refurb. When I say ages, it could take between 6 and 12 months to do the refurb, depending on what needs to happen. Every builder is different and every HMO is different, but it does take a long time to convert these houses into 6-bedroom HMO. So just be wary that the money and time that you're going to spend to redo the property and the investments and everything like that, that is an additional cost that you have to consider. And the fact that your rooms aren't going to be rented out as soon as you buy them, you're still going to have to wait between 6 and 12 months depending on the refurb to go and fill those properties out. You can start the process early, especially if you have a great builder and a great lettings agency. They can start marketing the property early based on what it's going to look like, if you have any architect drawings and things like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you benefited from the benefits and the cons of HMOs, and I'll catch you in the next video.